Hi, this is my Ethogram project by Alexandra King. For my Ethogram, I chose to study horses. The scientific name for horse is Equus caballus. Its geographic range, they originated in North America and then ended up spreading to Asia and Europe. For habitat, the wild horses tend to populate plains, prairies, and steppes. However, they are a largely domesticated species, so you can find them pretty much all across the world. Their distinctive characteristics, they have ungulates, long tails, short hair, an elongated neck, and the stay apparatus. And then for gender determination, you can generally just look at their pelvic area and it's obvious whether they are a female or a male. So there's a picture of a horse underneath there. For my observation context, I decided to go observe horses near pastures of Rose Creek in Watkinsville, Georgia. It's a local farm with horse and pastures. They have around 10 horses just in fields around there, so I went and I observed their behavior. It's a rural area and it's quiet. There are very few surroundings as well. It's a very isolated area. So I observed 8 of the individuals for 10 minutes each, but that's per observational trip. So I tried to observe the same horses each time, but each of them I observed for 10 minutes. So for my tabular ethogram, through my observations, I picked out the behaviors that I saw the most, and I thought that they were the most common. So the first behavior I outlined was standing and relaxed. So that for the definition of that, I said that they were still on all 4 legs and feet on the ground. And then this is a picture I took of the horses. And then for potential function, I just said that the body was in a calm state and it helped with blood circulation. The next behavior I picked out was alert and startled. My definition was sudden movement, ears up, buggy eyes, head raised, tail up, and tense body. And then for potential function, I said that they have an increased awareness of surroundings and ready for flight in any threatening situation. This behavior was usually when there was a loud noise or movement, they would become alert and startled. The next behavior is trot. That's basically my definition is lifting legs alternatively at a pace faster than a walk, and then the purpose for that is movement. The next one is eating. Definition is putting food into the mouth, chewing and swallowing, and the purpose of that is nutrition. The next is drinking, which is taking liquid into the mouth and swallowing, and the function for that is digestion and getting rid of waste. And then obviously drinking is vital to survival as well as eating. The next behavior is shaking, which is moving body in sudden motion, and then the head is slightly dropped. And the function is to remove dirt from the body, expel flies and other small organisms which may be on the skin surface of the horse. The next behavior is a sound. It's a whinny. It's a sound made from the mouth, and they usually have their ear raised and mouth open, and the purpose of making a whinny noise is either communication, and then there are also studies that find that whinnying calms them down. Then the next behavior is rolling, which is moving by turning over and over on the ground in a circular motion. And the function of rolling alleviates itches, it works as a dirt bath, and sheds winter coats. It can also repel insects and act as a cooling mechanism during hot weather. The next behavior was kicking, and it's a physical strike using the leg. The leg is moved out with force and it's often towards another individual. And then the potential function of that was defense and to communicate intrusion of the flight zone. And then the final behavior, which I included in my ethogram, was scratching, which was defined as rubbing against the skin using either the teeth or the lips to move up against the coat. And then the potential function for scratching was to alleviate an itching sensation and remove insects from coat. So for my behavioral time budget, I measured the behaviors for the behavioral time budget through percentage of time allocated to the behavior based off of my observations. I found that the majority of time is spent standing, relaxing, and eating, and other behaviors were a lot less frequent and didn't occur in every single individual. The horses were mainly throughout the observational time standing and eating grass on the ground, and then you also have when they're eating the hay on the side, and that takes up significantly more time. They were not the most active horses during the observational period, which I wanted to mention because I've definitely seen more active horses, but they were spending the majority of their time just relaxing and they weren't very active. So shaking and scratching were frequent behaviors, however, they did not occur for a very long amount of time. They took only a couple of seconds each time, so even though it was relatively frequent, it didn't take up much in their behavioral time budget because it just wasn't taking as long. Rolling and kicking did not occur for every animal being observed, but it did take up more time than shaking and scratching. So for animals that were rolling in the dirt, they would do it for a significantly longer time span. However, not every individual was seen carrying out this behavior. When the animals were alert and startled, it was often triggered by a loud noise or movement too. So from the behavioral time budget, you can see that the horses were taking up significantly more time when they were standing, relaxing, and eating, and then every other behavior was a lot less frequent. So in brief summary, the tabular ethogram provides information about some of the most common horse behaviors. However, there were many more complex behaviors that were not mentioned. And then the behavioral time budget shows that horses spend the majority of their time standing, relaxing, and eating, and then the other behaviors, while occurring possibly frequently, took up a lot less time and did not occur in every single individual observed. And then I just wanted to preface the fact that the information provided did have flaws because the horses were observed from all of the same farm and location, so it was very possible that they shared very similar behavioral traits, and wild horses or horses in different locations may have had different behavioral tendencies. So overall, the behaviors were typically generalizable to domesticated horses. However, if you took a different sample of horses, you may find different behaviors and a different behavioral time budget based off the information. Thank you.